Well, since we've already seen this scene loads of times already, so yeah, it might be the last time we're going to be seeing that little cinematic scene, where basically, yet again, that Delfino Plaza was already flooded again, so there's not much else to be expected. So, hey, what's up everyone? It is I am the one and only Maxi here, and I am back yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars while we're still playing through Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we basically managed to 100% everything in Serena Beach, and also we've managed able to almost accomplish everything, minus the forms of some other Shine Sprites that we still need to collect until we reach towards at the 100% requirement. So, yeah, today for this video is the fact that this will be the finale portion in terms of Super Mario Sunshine from the likes of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and once we're done with that, we'll basically hit on to the final game on this entire compilation, which appears to be, of course, Super Mario Galaxy. But, I'll talk more about that whenever we're able to, you know, assuming if Ray the Flying Squirrel will be returning back onto SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated and all that stuff. So here we go, folks, on to... it pains me to say this particular level's name is Corona Mountain. God, I hate these C words so much. It's just vermin. But I digress. So anyway, here's the forms of the final level in the game. If you ever played the original GameCube version before, you know exactly how this plays out. And suffice to say, this will be the last time we're going to be able to actually collecting those majority of the blue coins. Now, the first one wasn't all that bad, but until later on though, the rest of them are going to be the biggest pain to get, especially noticeable where you have to rely on the forms of that boat situation. So because of that though, yeah, it's going to be one of those annoying moments in this particular level, especially noticeable that, gee, no wonder why we've never done that in the course of Nuki Bay, but that's because of how the fact that normally I just use the actual turbo nozzle instead for the sake of the forms of the blue coins we need to get. So yeah, I can't believe that the actual process of this Let's Play has gone pretty fast, I have to say. Especially noticeable about the fact that despite there was actually a huge emphasis on the forms of some tedium involved with certain blue coins here and there, as well as the forms of the 100 coin Shine Sprites on certain levels, most notably in Gelato Beach, and all that stuff though. But regardless of such though, I think we actually did this a bit of a quicker routine and stuff like that, which I was quite impressed about this actually, because after all, that I've managed to complete the game several times from the likes of the original GameCube version and quite a few times on a Switch version as a matter of fact, because usually, relatively speaking, that I've somehow really enjoyed the game so much. So in this case though, that yeah. So a few things I want to explain for this point today. That is the fact that today's day is of course the 8th of July today, in this case in 2022 today, still in the beginning portion of the forms of the second half in terms of 2022 already. So I'm afraid there's not much else I can talk about, because obviously I've already explained quite a lot of bits and bobs after the events of the previous month, and also on top of all that stuff though, this is the end game basically until we move on to, as I said, the final game on this entire compilation of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And it's, let me tell you, the final game is going to be the big one because, well, as far as we already said this before, not only do we able to actually go for the Mario's playthrough, but also the Luigi's playthrough as well, despite the fact that it might plays out exactly the same. So, aside from, like, some few differences here and there, but I'll promise you guys, until whenever we get into both playthroughs of Super Mario Galaxy on the likes of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I'll try to be fast and quick at the same time, so that way I don't usually get a lot of boredom for likely discuss on nothing. But either way though, we'll stay tuned for that, until specifically, whenever we get onto the forms of, well, let's just say, in terms of likely, I would say in 2 months' time, specifically in September. So because of that though, because obviously until next month though, I'm probably not going to spoil things majorly for the likes of next month anyway though, because, well, I can't tell you if it's point right about now, because there might be if a a bit of a spoiled surprise, as certainly I don't usually try to discuss on what's going to be up next for certain Let's Plays for the time being, so I digress. So yeah, let's just go ahead and grab quite a few blue coins in a very close distance there, thankfully, so that way I can do this easy strat by simply we have to able to time our hover nozzle in the quickest jump if possible, and there's a rocket nozzle if you really wanted to, but again, we'll save that for later, because obviously we need to take care of this tedious blue coins section first, because, well, I think thankfully though, this will be the definition of the final time we're going to be able to try to deal with those godforsaken blue coins, because, well, I'm sure that most people already got a lot of frustration just trying to able to get those, you know what I mean, for those blue coins, but still, we're going to have to able to put up with this stuff. And I believe that unlike in 2 years ago, when Sonic did manage to able to win for this level, I think he did manage to did this level within 4 playthroughs, despite the fact that he died, let's say he dies like 3 times, I could assure you, for this point, mainly because of the forms of those blue coins. So I'm hoping that enjoyed at some point in this version in particular on Super Mario 3D All-Stars version on the Switch, at least I'm hoping I can able to do it within 2 playthroughs, like one specific playthrough for the sake of, you know, get the rest of the blue coins, and then the other playthrough for the entire level itself. So, and obviously we still need able to, whoa! God, that was a close one. I almost attempted able to actually just fell into the lava. And yes, much like the original game, basically though is the fact that if you dare touch the lava, it's an instant death. So you just have to be very cautious with that. Especially noticeable about the fact that you notice that we've actually did manage to able to, you know, bypass through, or should I say, just managed to win through, the first trickier part of the level, which is, of course, not only trying to avoid the actual flames, but also some spikes as well, because, well, between these 2 obstacles, those are instant death as well, so, yeah, keep that in mind. So, alright, so we'll just, be very careful not to mess things up with all that gentle spraying and stuff like that, while simply using the flood and stuff like that. So I think that's probably the best thing I can summarize when it comes to likely getting those rest of the remainings of those blue coins, as you can see, if you're trying to do this on the first attempt. And because of that though, you always have to rely on not only just trying to able to get yourselves a good angle when it comes to trying to spray on something, but also is the fact that you have to do a ridiculous amount of gentle button presses for the sake of like using flood most of the time, because I know it is incredibly a painful process, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, I still classify for saying this is actually the hardest final true final levels in terms of the 3D Mario games, at least if I don't count the special specific worlds, because that wasn't until when Galaxy 2 rolled around. That way we were able to actually start to introduce the most toughest levels in the game. But regardless of anything else though, it's just the fact that we're just gonna have to be patient, and also just don't rush on this too much, although I've almost gonna get bumped right into that rock, because again, much like the original version of the game, basically though, if you let the boat dare touch the forms of certain walls or certain rocky structures, stuff like that, the boat will get knocked off and you're going to die just like that. But luckily though, I managed to grab all 10 of those blue coins on the first try. So either way though, before we get to the actual main level itself, we need to exit the area, because not only do we need to spend... Oh, actually, before we get into that though, there was actually that specific secret area we can able to actually access to if you somehow managed able to visit the Corona Mountain for the first time. That, as you can see, we still want to cross the actual boat on the right. So before we get into that though, we still need to able to collect about 10 coins in order to able to actually spend on this particular special location that we can able to now explore. So in this case though, we still need to collect 10 coins in order to pay it. So... and I found the easiest way to able to actually just get 10 coins from there, and that is simply go to the sewer section, and of course we need to find something related to that little flip panel kind of stuff, and then that way, actually we can able to actually break that box crate, there we go. So that way we can able to actually get 10 coins from here and talk to this Pianta right here. so that way we can able to go into Delfino Airstrip ever since the very beginning of the game, except now it actually has Delfino Plaza music in the background, and also enemies laying around, and also some plenty of coins to be able to actually collect. So, but before we get on to the forms of the next Shine Sprite challenge, basically we need to use the hover nozzle on here, and able to actually get ourselves the final blue coin in the game, which appears to be on this little block thingy right there. So there we go, we've actually got all 240 blue coins that we actually got again, except the fact that it's on the Nintendo Switch rather than on the GameCube. So anyways, let's begin the final red coin challenge here. So basically though, this is pretty simple. You're just gonna have to able to grab all 8 of those red coins, and that's pretty much about it. And while we're at it though, you need to worry about the time limit as well. But luckily though, the actual time limit on this particular mission is super easy and self-explanatory, because you got plenty of time to do so, because thanks to the forms of that hover nozzle, actually the turbo nozzle I should say, so that way you can able to actually just become like the fastest thing alive. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog, except Sonic doesn't like water, whilst unlike Mario, he can able to actually swim underwater. But keep in mind is the fact that on most of those 3D Mario games, you have to worry about the air meter, except for the forms of Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World, because thankfully though, you do have infinite amount of air. Although, that's it kind of does the same thing from the likes of Banjo-Kazooie sometimes. Well, to be more specifically, the majority of the time on Banjo-Kazooie game on the N64, and maybe a bit from the likes of Banjo-Tooie, but it wasn't until whenever you get into the forms of Jolly Roger Lagoon. Basically though, is the fact that you get infinite amount of air if you're trying to able to swim with Banjo and Kazooie themselves, or to be more specifically, if you're trying to transform into a submarine, then basically though, you can able to also get infinite amount of air. So that way you have no issues there for the sake of likely, depending on, you know, the air meter and stuff like that. So anyways, let's go ahead and just dash forward, and booyah! We got ourselves now up to 95 Shine Sprites, but if you're probably wondering how you're able to actually just try to deal with 240 blue coins, well, there's also 24 more of those Shine Sprites we can get. That is the fact that we can pop over to inside that particular familiar building as you can see on screen. That way we'll talk to the forms of the mole little guys right here. So that way we can able to actually just, well, spend every single blue coins. But before I do that, I meant able to try to bring Yoshi into this particular stuff because, well, obviously though, this will be the last time we're able to actually see that little, Shine Get fanfare. So because of that though, because until whenever we get onto Super Mario Galaxy, basically though, it goes back onto Power Stars, including Grand Stars as well. So either way though, because chances are though that it's kind of sad that we're probably not going to see Yoshi ever again from the sake of the entire compilation and onwards. Because again, I really do wish if Super Mario Galaxy 2 will be on this compilation as well. But unfortunately though, due to the space limitations for the Nintendo Switch game card, so because it only fits like 3 games in one pack, which is understandable, but I just do wish that they'll also include Galaxy 2 as well, because, well, that was easily my favorite 3D Mario game of all time, next to Galaxy 1, but oh well, it's not the end of the world, honestly. So as you can see, we've got 24 Shine Sprites thanks to the forms of, well, we spent every single blue coins in Delfino Plaza. So that way, our Sunshine count is now up to 119. So, yeah, and it looks like we've only got one more Shine Sprite left, which appears to be towards the very end of the game, to be expected, much like the forms of the original version of the game. So we can able to actually hit back into the final level in the game again, but except this time around though, we'll try to able to actually just be, well, a little bit more of a normal run through, I should say. And of course the actual, the water flooding from the actual Delfino Plaza hub world is no longer there, so at least thankfully you don't need to worry about just trying to able to, well, you know what I mean. So anyway, so now let's go in and deal with the forms of the final level again. I hate this little Corona world so much, it's just vermin. Because you probably know why, what I'm just trying to say about this for the sake of time. But I digress. So, Yeah, it's gonna have to concentrate on here. Oh god, that was a close one, because if I somehow manage to get poked by these spikes again, I will die instantly. But thankfully though, just like in the original GameCube version of this particular level, basically though, every time you fail on this entire level, thankfully you can able to get an extra life again. So it's kind of like the forms of how it does it on, you know what I mean. Oh yeah, and by the way, every time when Mario is in low health, basically though, Mario just goes like, yeah, and all that stuff, because he was suffering from pain. So, yeah, I felt so sorry for him, honestly, whenever he dared touch the spikes. You know, kind of like how he did in the forms of certain Sonic games. Like, for example, in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on the Mega Drive or Genesis, basically though, there was actually a very annoying spike glitch where if you, like, let's just say for example, if you just somehow managed able to get the barrier shield with you, in addition to those rings as well, and if you dare touch the spikes about not once, but 3 times without any, like, invincibility frames, it will actually activate the spike glitch, which as a result, like, let's just say if you touch the spikes once, you lose a shield, and if you touch the spikes again without invincibility frames, you lose all of your rings, and if you touch the spikes for the 3rd time, you would instantly lose a life, and basically, that's no good. Especially noticeable that, thankfully, they managed to fix that on the later releases of the game, including Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So, but anyways, enough about that, so let's go ahead and use the rocket nozzle to able to go from cloud to cloud, and, oh jeez, that was really close. If I mess this up though, it'll just push me all the way back to the very beginning of the level, so we don't want to let that happen, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and blast off to one cloud to the other. And of course, if we make our way to the very top, then basically we need to aim for the dark red cloud in order able to actually, well, take on the final boss of the game. So let's do this!
The water's great, hey, Junior?
Sure is, Papa. Come on in, Mama Peach. I think not. Mario! You again? Don't you ever give up?
Mario! How dare you disturb my family vacation?
Alright, so let's tackle the final boss in terms of Super Mario Sunshine, and yet again it's Bowser again, except now he's going to be on a bit of a weird green water hot tub. So basically, the entire battle is pretty simple if you get the hang of it though, especially noticeable about the fact that if you ever played the original version of this game before, you know exactly how it goes. And this actually requires the rocket nozzle in order able to deal with this fight. And basically what we have to do is basically we need to ground pound every single of those little, like, you know what these icons, if we actually did this before, ever since in Delfino Plaza in one of those secret shrine sprites? Well, we have to do it again, except we have to break these things 5 times. And if you do that, then chances are you'll win the battle. But the only difficult part about this fight though sometimes, I must admit, is the fact that sometimes it gets like a really annoying glitch when you're able to actually clip through the actual breaking parts of the actual thing. So as a result though, I'm hoping that won't be the case on that particular version, as you can tell. So anyways, we're now on to the last hit, and of course you still need to watch out for bullet bills, thanks to Bowser Jr. just managed to launch some of those bullet bills. So anyways, enough about that. It's all over for you, Bowser, along with Bowser Jr. And of course, we get ourselves the final Shrine Sprite in the game, and let's watch the ending.
Oh.
Mario, was I, assist, Mario, look.
Junior, I've got something difficult to tell you about Princess Peach.
I know, she's not really my mama. Someday, when I'm bigger, I wanna fight that Mario again.
That's my boy. Well put, son. The Royal Koopa line is as strong as ever. But for now, let's just rest a while.
The vacation starts now.
So yeah, that's basically how this ending plays out, even though that flood is now finally fixed up after that massive drop. So as a result though, yeah, that was it for Super Mario Sunshine from the likes of the Super Mario 3D All-Stars version on the Nintendo Switch. So what's my final thoughts of this game on the Switch version? I should say for this point right about now, I think to me though, this is without a doubt the definitive version of the game in my opinion. Sure, it does have some few questionable choices, such as for instance, in order to be able to activate the first person view, is that you have to click the actual right analog stick, you know, with like a pressable button, in order to be able to activate that. Although, if you're trying to able to actually use the GameCube controller, then basically though, that should able to fix a lot of issues. So in this case though, we're going back to Y button again if you play the GameCube controller. So I will say for this point right about now, I enjoyed this game still, especially after playing this on the GameCube version, which, sure enough, I still enjoyed the game as it is. Now I enjoyed it way more often from the likes of the Switch version, especially noticeable that obviously the visual still looks really damn cool and stuff like that. In addition to that, 1080p support alongside with the widescreen support, which I was thankfully grateful about this. And all in all, this is a great version of the game, although they still need to able to actually fix like quality of life improvements, even though this might be a bit too late right about now, such as the tracking mark for how much blue coins you had, and also 30 frames per second, which I kinda wish there might be 60 frames per second, so... Oh, this is actually a lot smaller than I expected. Mind you, because this is on the emulation, so in this case though, they managed able to get the screen a lot smaller than the ones how it does in the original version, so... Anyway, if you somehow manage to collect all 120 Shine Sprites, you get yourselves have a relaxing vacation photo, just like in the original version of the game, as well as that little red sun icon onto your file selection. So, nothing different from the forms of the original version, which some people seem to get pretty mad about the fact that 100% completion is pretty much not worth it for most people. But, I've no idea why I just managed able to actually just go excited about that. But I digress. Before we end off this part in particular, let me show you something before we end off Super Mario Sunshine on the Switch. That way, as you can see, we got ourselves a sunshade that if you're trying to able to collect certain amount of those Shine Sprites, if I recall. And as far as the forms of getting a Sunshine shirt on, basically you have to beat the final boss once, and that's basically what you can get. In fact, I'm almost entirely going to be playing as Sunshine Mario outfit this whole time. You know, kind of like the similar thing as in both Super Mario Odyssey as well as Mario Kart Tour, despite the fact that I still haven't got Mario Sunshine outfit for the sake of the forms of Mario Kart Tour because of the stupid gacha moments, but it knows what it stands. And also, let me just go ahead and do something quickly, such as if I use the turbo nozzle, yeah, I still clear for that building and take a definite process, so I'm guessing this part is not fixed, so they kept it the same thing as the original version, so I have no idea why I showed that off, at the very least, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much about it in terms of Super Mario Sunshine on Super Mario 3D All-Stars version. And I had a great time playing the game again, but this time in gorgeous HD, and on top of all that stuff, though, it's on a different platform. So, but even then, though, it's kind of a shame we're gonna have to move on, especially noticeable that we're now on to the third and the final game on the Super Mario 3D All-Stars compilation. So, yeah, with that being said, we'll get endings off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario 3D All-Stars is that we are moving on to the final game, which is Super Mario Galaxy. So stay tuned until on September. So it might actually be 2 months break. So I'll see you guys then. Later, fellas.